inches measured from the armpit to the end of the fist, for the protector is too high above his waistband. Mayweather with a right hand. Mayweather boxer to do. Right hand across the top for De La Hoya excites the crowd. And immediately De La Hoya begins hammering away with left hooks to the body.
I don't think Oscar landed the right hand. I think the way...
The significant thing so far was the spirited effort that Mayweather's ribcage. Oscar has never been a particularly prolific of losing a fight. In his first fight against Jose Luis Castillo,
strategy. He's not doing too much because he can't deal with Floyd, but he can't. So he's trying to get Floyd to the center, to the ropes before he can be effective.
Right. Mayweather in the middle of the ring is quicker, beating him to the punch.
Oscar playing to just walk in and be physical, and just it's so difficult to get in to do that. And right there, Floyd angled his body to the fact that he knew Oscar.
But he isn't throwing it.
And Jacob on the back of De La Hoya's trunks. His two children who were not mothered by up to this fight, that Oscar wanted to honor his other two children. Well, CombiBox numbers in round one were by no means definitive. De La Hoya 3 out of 2, and the number of punches landed.
The first jab that Oscar really threw snapped his head back.
Good left hook inside by De La Hoya. But there they exchanged punches. That's what Oscar De La Hoya needs. Now he lands a jab again across the top.
And that Mayweather's left eye, which will neutralize Mayweather counterpunching, he'll do very well.
Good right hand across the top from De La Hoya. Mayweather now feels a need to answer back. Second round, landing both a left hook inside and a right hand across the top against Floyd Mayweather. There's another straight right hand landing for De La Hoya. And a jab and a right hand again, and the crowd goes nuts as De La Hoya begins to take over offensively, fighting the bigger man fight.
I think, but they didn't land effectively.
They landed enough to make the point that he's landing punches while Floyd isn't throwing.
If he continues doing what he's doing, he'll win this round.
He's still in the fight. Great right hand by Mayweather. De La Hoya flurries before Floyd moves away. Now Mayweather goes to his own jab.
You have to watch Floyd to start jabbing, and then all of a sudden he'll change the jab into a leaping left hook.
On the body tonight than in previous fights. Slips away from the jab. Oscar reaching, having trouble finding Mayweather. There'll be a lot of that.
And Oscar's doing a very good job of neutralizing Mayweather.
Here Oscar tried to lead with a right hand over the top. Trying to get a thing that he had extremely mixed feelings that it was even taking place. You saw the CombiBox numbers, which slightly favored De La Hoya in the second, working the shots with his right arm. Now the left hook lands upstairs. And he lands a right cross across the top. And for the first time in the fight, Mayweather looks genuinely on the defensive.
I'm not trying to think too much, because if he thinks, he's not going to beat Floyd thinking. It is very effective.
Sledgehammer punching across the top. Mayweather this time backs Oscar off with a body shot. Now pops him with the jab. Mayweather seeming
savants trying to find the right formula.
Effective and stop thinking too much, because when he thinks too much, he's playing right into Mayweather's hand. When he lets the punches go, he does very well.
It would appear that what De La Hoya needs to do is to attack, and
he got winded or whatever, but he's falling right back into playing the traps. Whether you land a clean punch on Floyd is not that important. Hit him on the shoulder, hoping that the weight size and the strength will wear him down as the fight goes on.
Get away from punches because he's so quick on his feet. Good quick left hook.
All night long, he's been very ineffective with that punch so far.
Straight right hand lead for Mayweather. And instantly he moves away to the side. Left hook lead, moves away to the side. This is vintage Mayweather. This is why De La Hoya needs to find a way to force exchanges. He was able to do it at the first
target or not, and when he finishes up with the punches, move forward anyway.
It's been relatively even up to now. Let's see who will try to apply the activity down the stretch. And there's your answer.
Wants is to go hand to hand.
When Zab Judah was able to threaten Floyd and make him uncomfortable and won the fight. Harold, how'd you score the first three?
Okay, Jim, 2 rounds to 1, 29-28, Floyd Mayweather Jr. In rounds 1 and 3, Jim, I just thought he outpunched with a 29-28, 2-1 Floyd.
and a 12-round fight.
It's always been a concern that I had with him. And in this case here, also, he's fighting flat-footed. One of the best left jabs in boxing. Just in years, he hasn't used it that much.
He worked in training camp on being more relaxed and less intense, but in the ring tonight, it's the same intensity we've
See that in his body movement.
No question, Mayweather is the more relaxed of the two.
Shouldn't tire him. He's not getting punched much.
Very tense, you know, with a guy without
Fist. And that has helped to tire him.
There are the body shots, and there is a sustained attack to the body like nothing. So an adjustment finally shows up, something he will have to do differently, and he seems concertedly aware of it in that moment. And because he throws the body shots, he pins Mayweather against the ropes to try a couple of shots upstairs. They go back to the center of the ring, and it's back to being Floyd's fight. Oscar De La Hoya threw about 12 body shots in a row.
Yeah, but I didn't see it. I mean, I see as the fight goes on, Oscar's going to be getting hit with a lot of clean shots like that, I believe.
They are really counting fight. Twice now we've heard Roger Mayweather said he's going to get tired, he's going to get tired, you'll get him later in the fight.
Good quick left hook inside by Mayweather. Through 4, De La Hoya 29 out of 108. Mayweather precise and accurate, 33 out of 58. Fighting this way does appear to be tiring.
That's what I feel the same way. I see the tension and rhythm as if he's beginning to tire. And
there's so much pressure in trying to find Floyd rounds. And again, De La Hoya tries to set something.
And there, it's a very close fight. We don't really know yet.
One thing I would say is that Oscar De La Hoya should throw his jabs more. But I'm of Floyd Mayweather. He's so quick and slinky with his right hand. Every time De La Hoya
of the doubt.
There's a red abrasion on the outside of De La Hoya's right eye, probably from a Mayweather left hook. Floyd Mayweather, he uses that punch increasingly down the stretch of those fights in which he's comfortable and confident. De La Hoya.
I like that Mayweather is standing right in with De La Hoya here. This is toe-to-toe and is willing to take the risk of getting hit.
Offensive as soon as they're in the middle of the ring. And Mayweather is trying to knock Oscar out with a right hand.
Here you see Floyd laying a right hand on Oscar. This is a right hand right on the side of the head, over top of his extended jab. And I think later on he lands another right hand, which is a different type of right hand. This is a right hand through the center. Oscar is actually making the fight and throwing the punches, but it's not being.
This is round 6 of a schedule with the jab, as Vernon Forrest did to Shane Mosley. That's not working as well. So once again, De La Hoya's ribcage, the way Jose Luis Castillo did.
Oscar has, and he's looking for
in the fight. He knew good and well that Floyd Mayweather might be able to take away his money punch upstairs. Over the top. Not normally the way he punches. And again, changing upstairs. Quick right hand. His best round since early in the fight. Now there's a quick left hook that lands for Mayweather. De La Hoya short with the right hand, but gets in a left. And once again, straight right hand lands for Mayweather. Part of his bread and butter. Lands a left hook. Suddenly the round begins to even up. So De La Hoya,
he's the guy that's been catching Mayweather's punches right.
And again, they're near the rope.
One of these face-to-face stand-downs like they are now. Floyd Mayweather throws the first punch. He gets off first. He pops Oscar De La Hoya with a left or a right, and Oscar can't get back up. This time, Oscar attacked him. When Oscar does that, like he did in round 6, he wins the rounds. But basically, it's been Mayweather getting off first, landing more clean shots.
And just to show you that Oscar heard Freddie Roach.
Stamina-wise, he's got a good chance of winning it going down the stretch.
Might win the fight. I mean, it's started to say, it might be the last thing he does, whether he wins or loses. At least when he's not throwing his jab, he gives Mayweather the chance to measure and wait and figure out when he wants to hook a right hand. When he is throwing the jab, Mayweather backs up.
Have the jab, but really, jab has always been Oscar.
Oscar blocking a left-hand shot with his right glove.
Question is, will we get the drama we were hoping for in the second half of this fight?
Mayweather lands 2 right-hand shots over the top. Well, we're into the second half.
Theatrics.
Good body shot by Mayweather. And he comes back to the body and hammers De La Hoya again. Big left hook upstairs by Mayweather. Now De La Hoya feels the need to rally and goes back to throwing the jab. Now, he fights in staccato bursts. He likes it that way. De La Hoya trying to pressure.
Well, if Floyd doesn't punch back, Oscar's going to win this round. But he's still working. He's still throwing punches, and he's pushing the fight.
11. He's got to keep being active with the jab to near De La Hoya's corner and scream. Jab. Business partners in Golden Boy, along with Shane Mosley, who sparred with him. Another De La Hoya flurry, and the crowd rises again. Once again, Oscar being more active, setting up the assault with the jab, putting Mayweather on the defensive. Pulls the jab and puts it back in the holster. But when he uses it, he puts Mayweather on the defensive. He's got to keep doing that. Mayweather the jab, and Floyd is picking his shots again.
No, but
Oscar's blocked it all night long for the most part.
No, it's when he counters
that Oscar is doing very, very well to stay in the fight with him this long.
And Mayweather's accuracy has receded a little bit in this round, as De La Hoya has done a pretty good job of picking off punches with his gloves. Looking for one more big counter shot. Oscar looking for one definitive rally down the stretch of the round.
That round where Oscar De La Hoya is doing what he's been doing most of the rounds, is close, coming in, throwing punches. Whether they land clean or not is not that important, but he's roughing him up in addition to that. Elbows, everything. And he's probably winning these rounds by doing that.
Recognizes the danger of throwing 35 punches in a round. I mean, Manny, your point is quite well taken. It doesn't much matter whether you're landing.
He's throwing punches, but he has not found a way to penetrate.
I'll tell you what, the body punches. Big right hand punch at a time.
And as a fighter, get to be considered a great fighter, as he throws basically one punch at a time.
Great is, I've never considered him great.
That's hard to argue with.
Very talented fighter.
Another De La Hoya rally against the rope, throwing.
He hit Oscar. Oscar's defense is pretty good.
That time, incidentally, CompuBox somewhat disagrees with us about accuracy, Manny. They have 35 in the last round. That's round 9. So perhaps Mayweather's mentality is now.
This is very aggressive.
I know Oscar De La Hoya.
Tie around. I don't understand it. Clean, effective, hard punches. 6-3.
For the 3-point margin on the letter.
Fight.
And you know, we never know
if he's going to massacre him.
Well, up at this age and after his long stretch of inactivity, this is an more accurate, sharper puncher through this. Oscar looking for one of those chances counters of Floyd Mayweather.
Now he's playing in the Floyd's game, playing mind games.
Now, making it a Mayweather dropping his hands as if to say, go ahead and lead, I'll counter you. 10 rounds finished, 2 rounds to go.
Here you see Floyd landing a right hand at the end of the...
Has been saying all along that De La Hoya would fade down the stretch, but it was Vargas who was tiring that night.
Yeah,
right hand pot shots for Mayweather. Himself open for Mayweather's op.
Oscar's getting tired.
Right hand, Mayweather skipping away along the ropes, hammers Oscar with the right hand in the center of the ring.
Effective punch he's had tonight.
Good body shot by De La Hoya. It didn't matter who Pernell Whitaker fought. You would pick him to win by unanimous decision. The logical choice was Mayweather by...
I guess he's abandoned landing that left hook, which every time he throws. So he's now concentrating on him, Oscar, with right hands.
Hard right hand by De La Hoya. It probably wasn't enough to put Mayweather in any jeopardy. A 12th round knockout, if it were to happen, would be the first of De La Hoya's career. Punches. And once again, Mayweather throwing more as the shot. The only chance for De La Hoya at this point, it would appear, would be to get another one of those big rallies against the ropes and somehow land a left one like the left hook. De La Hoya hasn't landed one of those big, super clean left hooks up.
In control of his body and everything else. And that may impress the judges.
Just much faster hands.
It's an argument with fists, and the younger man appears.
De La Hoya visit Mayweather is a dose of cold reality. This flurry will warm the hearts of De La Hoya's millions of fans, but the judges are watching the accurate clinical retaliation of a truly great fighter at the... Was it one last hurrah for a giant pot of money? Or will De La Hoya make good on his promise to keep on fighting even after this? And where does Mayweather go from this pinnacle after claiming that he's going to retire? They fight to the finish, and pleased with his youth, his fire, his ability to be the best fighter in the sport.
We go to the scorecards. Tommy Kazmarek scores the bout 115-113. De La Hoya. Chuck Jampus scores the bout 116-112. Mayweather. Jerry Roth scores the bout 115-113 to the winner by split decision and new WBC Super Welterweight Champion of the World, Pretty Boy, Floyd.